Hello everyone and welcome to another GTR 24H interview. This time we're with Tiziano Brioni from Musto Esports and we're looking ahead to the 24 hours of Nürburgring. I mean, first of all, Tiziano, how are you doing?
I'm fine, and so I'm waiting for next races, and yeah, we are training too much to do a better performance than the last race, because we were not we want to be, and so we have to work a lot to return in front.
Now, before I talk a little bit more about the Nürburgring race, there is one question that is really staring out at me. Why is the Italian in the Spanish football team in the Spanish shirt?
Because this was available, and in Italy these times are so cold, and I need it.
Fair enough, fair enough. I mean, to be fair, I do like the Spanish football team as well. Okay.
Me too.
Let's talk about Nürburgring then, because for me the first thing that pops out is we're at the Nordschleife. It's a 24-hour race. How will the team approach this race differently compared to the EEWC, which is currently 12-hour races?
Yeah, my team will take part to the race, I think, and I'm unavailable for it, and I'm so sad because I love the track, and the tips that I gave to my team is that is a so hard track, so long, and try to be as safe as possible, and so try to do less mistakes as possible, and give as fast as possible without taking any risks. And so apart from that is a normal 24-hour race for us, and we will give our best.
And you mentioned not taking many risks, and this is actually something that I wanted to kind of get into, because when we compare this to the EEWC, you know, you've got 6 races. If you make a mistake somewhere, it's not as catastrophic. But at the same time, if you want to get a win, you do have to take those risks. With this being a one-off event, how many risks are the team willing to take to go for, you know, the win in your class?
Normally the GT class is the more popular, and so when you have so many cars in the same category, you have to take some risks. Obviously our mindset is take risks, but without being stupid, because you can do a mistake, but if you're able to understand where you can do a mistake, you can so push, but with the perception of maybe losing 1 or 2 seconds, and not do a crash into the wall that can give you so many seconds of damage to repair it. An unpredictable pit stop, and so basically risk, but with judgment.
Risk with judgment. With regards to the Nürburgring track, you mentioned is a track that you particularly like, and one question that I'm trying to ask everyone is, how difficult have you found it in the past to learn the circuit, to kind of know it inside out?
Yeah, I choose a strange sim.
Oh, I think we've lost Tiziano.
If I can and learn the track. You have my voice?
Yes, you're back. You're back with us.
Okay, I will start. Some connections problem, I think.
Yeah, I think your camera's jumping in and out at the moment.
And so, as I said, okay, one moment.
I think a lockdown. Yes, yep, you're back. Okay, perfect.
Okay. So 4G is better than Wi-Fi here. And as I said, I used a strange game to learn the track. In my opinion, I learned the track and understand the secrets in Gran Turismo, Turismo Sport precisely, because it's easier, in my opinion, than other games, and so I can do so many laps without tire wear, fuel consumption, with some kinds of cars. So I was able to learn all the turns. Then when I jump into R Factor 2, obviously track was harder, but I know the critic points, and so the jumps, the danger curbs, and so I was able to learn so fast what I do. Something, and where I can do other things, and so that's my history of learning the ring. And when I understand all the track, I was so proud of me, because it's in my opinion the worst track to race, but at the same time the best track to race, because it's a challenge for everyone. And so when you dominate the ring, you feel a lot of power, I can say.
Well, maybe, I mean, yourself behind the scenes, you mentioned you can't race, maybe you can be at the same time during the race giving tips to your team. And speaking of your team, who is in the team for the 24 hours?
I think that Daniele Primavera and Fabio Liuzzi will race, and I think Giordano too. I think that we'll race with a fourth driver, but I don't know who is him, so I have to inform. And so I think that they can do a good race, but they have to train more, and more than other races, I mean. And so if they do the right choice with the car, maybe we can do a good race and a good result.
I also want to ask, with the 24-hour, again, a longer race, maybe having to be a bit nicer to the car as well to prevent any issues. How important is strategy as well? You know, are we going to be seeing any double stints for the tyres, or is it all going to be fairly straightforward?
I don't think so, because Studio 397 tires are a little bit cringe, I can say, and so basically you have one lap that is so fast, and then tire completely dead. So I don't think that we will see double stints, but only one stint with the tires, and in the night probably two stints with one driver, and then driver change, because track is so hard, and doing triple stints, soft-core quad stints, it's so risky.
I also want to ask as well, because it does come into play with regards to fuel saving, because you know, when you're at a track like Silverstone or any kind of normal track that's between 1 and 2 minutes long, if you get that fuel strategy wrong, you know, you have to pit 1 minute earlier. But at Nürburgring, if you get it wrong, you're pitting 5 minutes earlier. So how will the team be approaching fuel saving? Are there any checks in place to make sure, okay, you know, we don't want to be running anywhere near this kind of like almost like a red zone?
I think that from this point of view, it's so important which car you will take, because I think that especially on this track, the car that has a lot of fuel consumption less had a strong advantage, and so I think that the car is an important thing. About the fuel strategy, I think that the main thing is try to complete the hour, to avoid one or worst two pits, more than the other teams, and apart from that, I think that it's just race as the others, and so I think that there is nothing different from other point of views.
The final question that I do want to bring up is setup, because setups are such a critical part of racing, being able to, you know, push the car to the limit, as you mentioned before, knowing where you can take risks as well, and again, setup feeds into that. At a track like the Nordschleife that is so long with such a variety of corners, how on earth do you try to, you know, make a setup, and what parts of the circuit do you have to kind of compromise to improve for other parts?
Yeah, I think that setup on the track is so hard because it's, I think, the more heterogeneous track in the world, because you have the first part that is a GP track without without any kind of danger, apart from the chicane of the Nürburgring GP. But when you go into the Nordschleife, you have a lot of bumps, a lot of high cabs, a lot of zones where you can't push a lot, because if you go off the line you crash. So I think that and another critical point is that you have a long straight, so you can do a night drag setup, because in that point maybe you can lose all the time that you gain in the rest of the track. So I think that you have to do a medium downforce setup, but stable for the critical points of Nordschleife, especially the section of the downhill between the bell of chicane and the carousel, and so you have to have a compromise on top speed into the straights, because there are a lot of straights, but have a stable car on the bumps, and with a good downforce to can approach to the fast corners of the ring with a good speed. And another critical point is rear stability on the brakings, because when you have to brake in a downhill, you have to have a so stable rear.
Okay, well, Tiziano, thank you very much for your time, and I wish you best of luck for the 24 hours of Nürburgring.
Thank you. See you on track next times.
Ciao.
Ciao.